I'm Storm Team 12 meteorologist Jacob Lanier. We're joining you this morning because we have a brand new tornado warning that has just been issued for Holmes, Humphreys, and LaFleur counties going until 9 a.m. So this is right on top of Belzona, headed towards Chula. So this is our lower Delta counties, which we were forecasting to get the first of these thunderstorms. So I'm going to show you on velocity mode for you where the rotation is, where these two icons here are. Where this green is headed to the south, reds are headed away, and that's where we're seeing the possibility for some rotation. So there could be a possible tornado about to touch down essentially between Silver City and Belzona, right here along Highway 49. So everyone here in Isola, Belzona, Silver City, this entire area, as well as Chula, you need to be heading to your safe place right now. That means if you have a basement, be headed to the lowest floor of your house, the basement. If you don't, you need to head to the innermost room. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you can, and that's because we could have a possible tornado for this tornado warning, essentially headed right towards Belzona, Silver City, and eventually towards Chula. So that's why we are joining you this morning. We had a brand new tornado warning. We've been watching this storm closely for you, and I want to track out this storm because it is moving very quickly, and it's going to impact some decently populated places here across the Delta. So Belzona, by 8:26, within the next 5 minutes, this possible tornado right here could be moving overhead, crossing 49. Silver City, it looks like the tornado could possibly be just to your north, although it's going to be a very close call. So I just want Silver City to also go to your safe place. Isola, maybe a little bit south of you, but still, this entire area of northern Humphreys County needs to be taking alert. This is a tornado warning now that goes until 9 a.m., and this storm is going to be crossing Highway 49 shortly, within the next 5 minutes, eventually heading towards Butler and Chula, Pinchback, as well as Grass Lake. So all of these areas, you need to be taking shelter right now for this possible tornado. I want to go back over here to our radar mode, and this is where we've been watching closely for possible kinks in the radar line here, and it looks like that is what we're seeing. And so as I zoom in, I want to point out this notch here, just to the south of Isola, just to the due west of Belzona. This is where there's likely rotation. We have a few lightning strikes, but in this area is where I'd expect the tornado to likely be if it is one. So I'm going to zoom in here even closer to show you some of the roads and areas that could be impacted. So again, likely if there's a tornado here, there's a tornado warning, so we're going to assume there is. This tornado would likely be along Highway 12 moving towards Belzona. Belzona, I need everyone in Belzona to please get to your shelter right now. This could be moving directly towards the town of Belzona and directly north of Belzona Municipal Airport there on Highway 49. Okay, so just to the south of Isola here, if you live along Highway 3 between Isola and Belzona, please take shelter as well. I know there's a lot of farming communities, but there's also some the portable or the townhomes or houses anywhere. If you don't have a basement, please get into the interior room. And if you're in a mobile home, please head to a tornado shelter immediately, because this notch right here along Highway 12 moving towards Belzona is where we could have a possible tornado. And I want to point out here's the possible rotation as I kind of circle this for you, where these greens are headed to the south, reds are headed to the north. That's where we're going to get some rotation here, and this is moving quickly at 60 to 70 miles per hour towards the Belzona area. So it's going to be here along Highway 49, 3, and Highway 7, the intersection of all these roads here at Belzona. It's going to be there momentarily, which is why I'm a little bit concerned here. And I want to check over on our correlation coefficient. Right now, I'm not seeing any signs of debris, which is good news, but the rotation is pretty significant. That's why the National Weather Service issued this warning. And so here it is for you, where these greens and reds are, essentially along Highway 12 moving towards Belzona, Belzona Municipal, and just off the map I want to include Silver City. You need to be in your safe place as well. This is a tornado warning now that goes until 9 a.m. for Holmes, Humphreys, and LaFleur County, and this was just issued moments ago. As this tornado likely could be forming in a kink along the line, this is going to be our tornado threat as we move through today. So areas in Belzona and Silver City, Isola, please head to your safe place right now. There is a severe thunderstorm warning also in effect for damaging wind gusts. If there's not a tornado, there definitely could be. The damaging winds here could be 60 to 70 miles per hour. So some significant storms moving through. And I'm just trying to get here from updates from the National Weather. So I want to step off here and see if we have any new updates. Right now, it's just like the National Weather Service is saying that near Murphy is where that tornado is. So I'm going to kind of zoom in here and show you where the possible tornado is. Essentially, between Hollandale, there's Hollandale just behind me here, Hollandale, Highway 12 out to Belzona, and the storm is moving to Belzona right now, and this is a little kink here, and there's the rotation. Essentially, if I had to guess where a tornado would be, it's going to be on Highway 12, tracking due east at high speed, 60 to 70 miles per hour, with some strong damaging winds possible with this storm. The rotation is not significantly tight, but that doesn't matter. This is very far away from our radar site in Jackson, and so we are looking high up in the clouds here, and so this broad rotation is where that tornado could exist along Highway 12 pushing towards the Belzona area. So again, if you are in Belzona, please take shelter now. It looks like the tornado is going to move somewhere between Isola and Silver City here along Highway 49 to the west. Now I want to zoom out just a little bit and show you other people who are going to be in the track of this, because this is moving. It's a very quick moving storm, and it is headed towards the Chula area as well. So again, this tornado warning goes until 9 a.m. for northern Holmes County. Here's Holmes County over here where Chula is, northern Humphreys, including Belzona and Silver City, and extreme southern LaFleur, just to the south there of Morgan City, including the Kruger area and extreme northern Holmes County. So as I track this out, I want to include the places where this could be headed. It is moving very quickly at 60 miles per hour. And here are some of the locations that could be impacted shortly. Belzona, within the next couple of minutes. This is even late here. We just got a new radar scan, so I'm going to update these times. This is right on top of Belzona, so please be in your safe place. If you are living in or around Belzona, if your address says Belzona, you need to be in an interior room, as many walls between you and outside as possible, because with this little notch here in this line, we could have a tornado crossing through Belzona, headed towards Grass Lake by 8:34, Butler by 8:40, Chula by 8:45, and Lexington by 8:57. So this storm is moving very quickly. It's going to impact some places which are decently populated relatively to the rest of the Delta, and so that's why we're monitoring this closely. The good news is it looks like that the rotation has weakened just a little bit, and this may be turning into more of a damaging wind threat as these greens come in from behind these winds. This is going to be gusty winds here, which could be in excess of 60 miles per hour, and that's the damaging wind threat that is our primary focus today. But really, right on top of Belzona is where we could get a little spin of a tornado, and so that is the area that I'm more concerned about for this tornado warning. So again, just to call out some places here who could be impacted: Castleman, Belzona, Brooklyn, Dio Valente, Grass Lake, anywhere off towards the east of Belzona here, and this is going to be Highway 12. And so essentially, if you live Castleman to Belzona, Brooklyn, down to the municipal airport, all the way out to Grass Lake on Highway 12, you need to be seeking shelter immediately, because this could be a possible tornado that's on the ground headed east on Highway 12 through northern Humphreys and Holmes County. So there's the tornado warning. Here's the warning box. I'm going to zoom back out just a little bit for you here, and it is showing the tornado warning continuing until 9 a.m. So for the next 35 minutes, we're going to be here on the air with you at 12 News. We're breaking in because there's a tornado warning for Humphreys, Holmes, and southern LaFleur counties. This is part of our viewing area up to the north. Silver City, Belzona, Isola, Chula, Kruger, all included in this tornado warning. Now, just real quick, we'll get back to this in a moment. I want to put everyone else at ease. The rest of us are dry for the most part. Most areas not not even seeing any rain right now. The strongest storms are still up here in the Delta, where we have the tornado warning. A severe thunderstorm warning. It still includes Rolling Fork. That's going to bring some damaging winds to Yazoo City. And then behind me over here is going to be Vicksburg, where in Eagle Lake, where some thunderstorms could be moving in shortly. Jackson Metro, though, up towards Pickens, Lexington, we're mostly dry, some scattered showers there in northern Madison County. But our tornado warning is why we're joining you, because that is extreme rotation that we've been keeping an eye on here that is essentially right on top of Belzona. So we're going to want you to take, if you're in Belzona, in Silver City, or in Chula, or some of the other towns up here are going to be the areas, Grass Lake. That's an area where you need to be headed to your safe place right now, because the rotation, if there's a tornado, it's going to be right here on top of Belzona. And it's been a few minutes since we got our radar scan, so I would say if there was a tornado, it's on top of Belzona now, or even now moving east on Highway 12 towards the Grass Lake area. We already have some strong damaging winds likely moving through Silver City across Highway 49. So between Silver City, Belzona, up to Isola, that's where we're going to have the tornado risk for the next 5 or 10 minutes. Now, Chula, I need you to go ahead and get to your safe place here along 49 East here in Holmes County, because this is where this storm is tracking, and our storm speeds today are moving quickly. 60 miles per hour is what this storm is moving at, and it is moving off towards the east with some possible hail embedded in some of this as well. So I want to go over to our correlation coefficient and see. The good news is I'm not seeing the possibility for any debris right now. We would, if we were looking for debris and would see it, it would be a little blue spot here on the map. And as we go back to our velocity, it looks like that there's just some couple areas here. So this is a zone that we're going to have to watch closely. I would just want to point out a couple of these for you. So over Belzona, we have a rotation area near Silver City, near Louise, and to the east of Rolling Fork. So there's multiple rotating segments here along this line, and this is the weak spin-up tornado threat that we're going to be dealing with for the rest of the day. As these lines move through, this is the environment, especially, I was mentioning all morning long, off to the west of I-55. That's where we have this tornado threat. And so it looks like that we just got an update in from the National Hurricane Center, and they are now trimming the warning. So that's good news. It's showing the quick forward motion that I've been mentioning as it moves from Belzona towards the Chula area. And so here is the warning box for you, and I'll just put up that latest icon, and I'm going to step off here to read any updates from the National Hurricane Center. They're just saying that this is going to be continuing here for the next 30 minutes at least across central Mississippi. So we're going to keep an eye on this closely. A tornado warning now in effect for Holmes, Humphreys, southern Lafleur County, Belzona. If there's a tornado, it's on top of Belzona right now. I'm a little bit concerned there. And Silver City, you need to be taking your safe place as well as Chula. So I'm going to zoom in here and show you some of these areas, essentially Belzona out to Grass Lake here along Highway 12. That's this highway here. That is where we need you to take your safe place right now, because the tornado is going to be here in the Belzona area, right here along Silver City Road between the airport and Belzona, pushing east here on Highway 12. And it really has, it's been a couple of minutes since we have gotten that radar update. And so I'm just going to check here and make sure that we're getting the latest update there. Okay, so there's the new update for us. And it looks like that Boeing segment continues as we look at the velocity product. This is our wind mode for you. It looks like that we're still seeing some possible rotation. And I'm just going to check for the update on this mode as well. And it looks like there's going to be rotation right on top of Belzona. So where these greens are headed towards the radar, the reds are headed away from radar. This is where we have the possible tornado that could be spinning up. So essentially, if there's a tornado right now, it's going to be on top of Belzona, right along 49 West and Highway 12, moving towards the Grass Lake area. There's Grass Lake. So I'm going to need you to all take shelter right now. Interior room, if you have a basement, head to that floor, the lowest floor of your house. Put as many walls between you and the outside, because we could have some debris with this. If there's not a tornado, we would certainly be seeing some gusty winds on the south side of this through the Silver City area. And this storm is moving quickly off towards the east. So I want to give you another update. It looks like we got in an update from the National Hurricane Center or the National Weather Service, excuse me. And so it looks like that they're just continuing the tornado warning. The severe thunderstorm warning is continuing as well. And this is pushing towards Chula. So again, Chula, I need you to take shelter now because this storm is holding together. Belzona, Grass Lake here along Highway 12, 49, and Silver City is going to be seeing some of the damaging winds as well for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a forecast track on this. We're moving pretty quickly, these thunderstorms are. And so as we time this out, here is where we can expect the storm to arrive. The possible tornado, Grass Lake within the next 5 minutes there. Butler by 8:44, Chula by 8:49, Lexington by 9 a.m., and C.A. Moore by 9:03. So all of these areas, you need to be in your safe place right now. We have a possible tornado moving between Belzona and Grass Lake, and that's why this tornado warning goes for the next 29 minutes. This is going until 9 a.m. for you here in northern Humphreys County and western Holmes County, also including southern LaFleur County. So the areas included in this include Kruger, Chula, and Silver City, also areas off towards the west here of Chula. So I'm going to zoom in here and show some other possible storms in the path, or other towns here in the path. So again, Grass Lake, you need to head to your safe place. Honey Island Refuge here, Marcella along Highway 12, down Mileston along 49 Westfield, Shackelford, Gwynn, Chula, all need to be taking their safe place because this storm is headed in your direction over the next 10 or 15 minutes, and that's why we're keeping an eye on this. So it looks like we have a new okay, so that's going to stay off to our north. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that includes Winona and Grenada with a possible tornado. And I'm just going to check back on here because earlier, about 5 minutes ago, I was monitoring some possible rotation in some of these other storms, and it looks like that this just entire area is where we're seeing some of those strong gusty rotations that could spin up some brief rotations. So essentially, Rolling Fork and Cary all the way up through Louise, Yazoo City, Eden, up to Silver City, we could be watching the potential for possibly another tornado warning. But right now, the only tornado warning is up here in Humphreys and Holmes County for Belzona, Chula, as we have an area of rotation that has been rather tight and gusty and possibly bringing in some gusty winds through Silver City as it moves off Highway 12 towards the east, and it is moving rather quickly. So I want to give a radar update for us and check in here. So there's the latest update, and it looks like that it's kind of continuing to move off to the east quickly. So notice here we have kind of this bowing segment. That's where we're seeing the gusty winds, and then this notch would be possibly where we could see some rotation here. Just now has passed over Belzona. If you're in Belzona, it's a little early to declare you safe yet. Isola, you're good to go. Still raining hard. Belzona, though, it could still be just off to your east along Highway 12. And so what's next down the line is Grass Lake here on Highway 12. I need Grass Lake to be in your safe place right now. I'm going to zoom in here. There's Grass Lake, okay? And if there's a tornado, it's right here. So Jones Road, McGee Road, Cypress Road, Cemetery Road here along Highway 12 from Grass Lake. Please head to your safe place right now. This is where we could be dealing with the possibility for a brief spin-up tornado. And this eventually is going to be headed down Highway 12 towards Honey Island, Refuge, Marcella. And this is the area where you need to be taking shelter in northern Humphreys and western Holmes County as this possible tornado moves off towards the east. So again, Chula is included in this. Chula, I told you a moment ago to head to your safe place. Hopefully you're there by now. If you're not in Chula, please head to your safe place. I want to point out for right now, Lexington is not included in this warning. You're seeing some showers, even some downpours around the Lexington area. You're not in the tornado warning right now. It's just Belzona, Silver City, Chula, and areas along Highway 12. And I'm going to say, the highest risk for a tornado at this moment exists if you live anywhere along Highway 12 in Humphreys counties or Holmes County. You need to be in your safe place. If Highway 12 is near your neighborhood, near your house, if you go to school along Highway 12 here, you need to be heading in your safe place because the Highway 12 corridor is where the tornado could be existing here just to the east of Belzona. So I'm going to get us an update here on our velocity mode, and there's the latest, and it looks like that we kind of have two zones here. I'm curious. We have an area of rotation just to the south of Belzona, so another spin up possible between Belzona and Silver City. More gusty winds and broad rotation here over towards the east of Belzona there on Highway 12. So Grass Lake, that's where the broad rotation is. It looks like there could be another brief spin-up tornado now over Belzona Municipal Airport between Belzona and Silver City here along Highway 49. All of this, there's just messy rotation here. This is not a typical tornado setup. It's a line of strong to severe thunderstorms, and it's creating some bowing segments here. So here's the line of thunderstorms. Notice here at Belzona where we get a little notch. That's where a tornado could possibly exist as it moves off towards the east here along Highway 12. So Belzona heading towards Chula, you need to be heading to your safe place right now. It looks like there's a secondary area of rotation that could exist between Belzona and Silver City, and so both of these areas, Belzona, you still need to be in your safe place because we're tracking that possible rotation. So notice all the greens and reds here, where these greens and reds are interacting. That's where we could be seeing the rotation here near Belzona, heading along Highway 12 to the north here of Silver City. So along Highway 12, if you live Highway 12 over towards Grass Lake, Brooklyn, this is that area of rotation that we're continuing to monitor as this storm essentially is pushing due east along Highway 12. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom back out here and time this out for you. These storms moving rather quickly at about 45 miles per hour is what this storm is moving. And so it looks like Grass Lake within the next 5 minutes. This storm could be in your neighborhood, and we need to even update this track because this storm is moving very quickly. So it looks like right now, essentially, Grass Lake, you need to be in your safe place. The possible tornado is essentially right on top of you. The Albino School by 8:49 here. Chula by 8:49. Rose Bank School by 8:53. So over the next 15 minutes, this is going to be crossing from northern Humphreys County into Holmes County, where Chula is, and eventually on towards the Lexington area, which technically right now is not under the tornado warning. Chula is included in that tornado warning. And so there's Chula and there's Kruger. Kruger, you're in the tornado warning as well. And it looks like where the rotation would exist is here, essentially to the south, to the southeast of Belzona, right here between Highway 49 West and Highway 49 East. And this road right here for you is Highway 12. And so this possible tornado is right along Highway 12 between Belzona and Chula. So if you live on Highway 12, if you live on 49 East, in or around Chula, you need to be heading to your safe place right now, because the next place down the line is going to be Chula. And that's where I hope that you are on your interior room. So essentially, it looks like now we just got a brand new update on the tornado warning that it's been kind of trimmed off here, which helps us focus on the area that might have the possible rotation. So I'm going to get us an update here on this velocity mode, which is our winds, telling us high up in the atmosphere where the spin or rotation is. And it looks like it is now kind of here along this line, Highway 12, maybe up to the north. So essentially, if you live in Chula, along 49 between Chula and Kruger, or Kruger, you need to be heading to your safe place. This rotation is about to cross from Humphreys into northwestern Holmes County as it moves just to the north of Highway 12 here, pushing towards Highway 49. So we've been tracking this for you for the last 15 to 20 minutes, and it's this little notch in this line of thunderstorms. A severe thunderstorm warning continues for Louise, Silver City, Belzona. Just got the really heavy windfall. That's our winds up to 60 miles per hour. That's going to move through Eden as well, crossing Highway 49. So Kruger, Chula, Eden here along Highway 49 East. You need to head to your safe place because that's where this tornado warning is going to be continuing for the next 20 minutes. So I just want to show you the latest update. Still, it's showing that it's going until 9 a.m. for Holmes. Again, here's Holmes County over here. This is northwestern Holmes County. Here's Humphreys County. This is northeastern Humphreys County. And southern LaFleur County right here to the north of Belzona. This is where that storm is moving. Some little kinks here in the line, and that's where a possible brief spin up of a tornado. We may have had one already. It may have dissipated, and we may be getting a new one. It's really hard to tell with these storms how quickly they can spin up. And so right now we're looking at our debris mode. And so what I'm looking for is any possible debris or blue ball that could pop up here. And as I compare this, I'm not seeing anything conclusive that shows that we're any debris. Possibly a faint signature near Belzona. It's really hard to tell with this being so far away from our radar site. So again, I want to zoom back out here for you, give you an overview. Here's central Mississippi, Jackson, we're mostly dry right now. Vicksburg about to get some strong thunderstorms stretching up to Yazoo City. And the tornado warning is in our extreme northern portions of the viewing area. It is for Humphreys and Holmes County, and that is going until 9 a.m. So as we zoom back in up here, there it is for you. Belzona is now no longer included in the tornado warning. Still some heavy rain and winds in Belzona, Silver City. But that tornado warning has now been trimmed. So Belzona, you're not included in this anymore. Who is Kruger and Chula. So if you live again along 49 East from Kruger down to Chula down towards the Eden area, please head to your safe place right now. That means if you have a basement, head there, the lowest floor of your home, an interior room that has no windows to protect you between debris that could be outside and you. And so you also might want to put on some shoes or maybe a helmet if you have one to protect your head from any possible falling debris or caving in of your home. So again, I'm going to zoom in here, and it's really hard to pinpoint the exact rotation because A, we're looking so far up in these clouds. This is very high off the ground because we're far away from Jackson. And then B, it's kind of a messy system here. It's a kink in the line, not a classic tornado signature, but anywhere along here is where we could be seeing some rotation. And this essentially is crossing the county line now. So Butler, the tornado, if there is one, is going to be right on top of you now. Wyatt along Highway 49, likely in the direct path of this storm. And we just got an update there. This is moving off towards the east at about 45 miles per hour. So let's zoom out here just a little bit more. Kieran, Pinchback, Wyatt, Chula, anyone along Highway 49 east, please head to your safe place right now. You're in a tornado warning until 9 a.m. Butler, a possible tornado right now arriving here as it crosses the county line from Humphreys into Holmes County. And northwestern Holmes County is now where our focus is shifting as this storm moves off towards the east. At about 45 miles per hour. So I'm going to give us a radar update here, and then we're going to time this out because we have some cities, communities, kids are at school by now that could be impacted by this storm. So if there's not a tornado, damaging winds is a significant threat for us. If there is a tornado, obviously that is our primary threat with damaging winds. So here it is. This line of strong winds and a possible tornado is now arriving in Ray Ann Chapel School. Butler, Marksville, within the next moments. Please be in your safe place now. Any minute, those damaging winds and a possible tornado could be arriving at your location. The Albino School by 8:48, Chula as well as 8:48, Meeks by 8:51, Holly Grove School at 8:56, and Adair by 8:57 this morning. So this storm is moving fast. Over the next 15 minutes, it's going to be covering a lot of ground here in northern Holmes County. So here's the storm. Here's the kink in the line. There's Lexington down here. There's Durant West. You guys aren't in the tornado warning for now, so that's good news. It's Chula and areas along Highway 49 east here, essentially between Chula and up towards the Kruger area, which is where this tornado warning is going to continue. So I want to check back here, look at our debris mode and make sure that we're not getting any type of indication that there could be some damage. Thankfully, I'm not seeing any, although as we come back here, possibly, it's really hard to tell, we're far away, but there could possibly be a little indication right there of possibly something, maybe leaves or low-end debris that's lofted up in the atmosphere. So we'll keep an eye on it. And so I'm pointing at this area, and I want to see what our rotation looks like at this area. Okay, so that could possibly line up, because as we zoom in here, I'm going to draw out the rotation that could exist here between Chula and Belzona, crossing the county line essentially. So these greens, that's moving towards the radar to the south. These red shadings, that's moving away, and then we get this counterclockwise rotation. That's anticyclonic tornado spin that could produce a funnel cloud or a brief touchdown of a tornado, which would be arriving in Chula or just to the north of Chula along Highway 49 any minute now. And so that's why we're staying with you here with this possible tornado warning. And so I'm going to zoom in here and try to get a few more roads and streets here to name out. So again, if you live in Butler, you need to be in your shelter right now. Horseshoe Plantation Road. This is Fawn Road, Bentley Road, heading towards Highway 49, Old Highway 49, outside Horseshoe Road, Old Highway 49 and along Wyatt there. And this storm is eventually going to be crossing 49 East, likely within the next 10 minutes or so, as this storm is approaching the Butler area between Butler and Grass Lake. So Grass Lake, you're not out of the woods quite yet. We've been talking about you guys here along Highway 12 to the south. Right behind me. This is the area that could have the possible rotation near Butler, Chula, Wyatt. These are the areas that you need to be heading to your safe place. We just got a radar update here. And again, it looks like broad rotation. So these are just going to be spin-ups and maybe even so broad or so quick that it might not appear on our live IMAX 12 radar. And so that's why this is still a broad warning here for areas Chula and along to the north along 49. You're going to want to seek your safe place here. So Butler, Wyatt, 49, Chula. This is the line of damaging winds and a possible tornado moving due east. Going to cross 49 any moment now. This is 49 east as this tornado warning continues still for the next 15 minutes. So again, now to clarify, this tornado warning has been trimmed back and includes only Holmes County now. So Humphreys, you've been dropped from this warning, tornado warning now for Holmes County until 9 a.m. Areas from Chula up 49 East all the way to Kruger. That's who's included in this tornado warning. And a wider view is going to show you that this is the only tornado warning, or really the only warning that we have across central Mississippi. And so we have a strong line of storms about to move into Vicksburg, Satarsha, Yazoo City. And then up here in Holmes County is where we have the little bit of a notch on our live IMAX 12 radar. And that is where we could be seeing the rotation here, moving into Chula, south of Kruger, along Highway 49 East. And so I'm going to switch over to our velocity mode, check in, and this broad rotation looks rather broad, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint here. But if there's a rotation, it's going to be along this line, essentially crossing 49 within the next couple of minutes, okay? And if there's not a tornado, we could still be with damaging winds. We just had a severe thunderstorm warning earlier in this area, which said damaging winds over 60 miles per hour possible, and that could do some similar damage as a tornado could. So we're continuing to monitor this area. We want to track this out now. It's moving about 45 miles per hour. That's per our last update here from the National Weather Service. And as we time this out for you, Butler is essentially in the area right now. Albino School by 8:52, Chula 8:52, Meeks 8:55. And we even have a radar update, so those times are going to be advanced even. So Chula 8:51 in the next minute or so. Please be in your safe place if you live along Highway 49 between Chula and Kruger. Meeks by 8:54 and Adair by 9 a.m. And we now have Chief Meteorologist Ken South who is joining us. Ken, and have you seen any more updates on this tornado warning?
Just the latest that you were just talking about right there. It's a tornado warning that's going to go for about the next 10 minutes in Holmes County. As the warning has been updated, we have seen the polygon shrink and it's been narrowed down. And because this is now a broader rotation, we do have hopes that it will be allowed to expire at the top of the hour. But here's a look at what's going on across the entire state. Obviously, there is a line of strong storms moving into Mississippi from the northwest. Now, most of the severe weather has been up to the north of us, but it is catching some of our northern counties. So we're going to zoom in to the affected area right here. It is now mostly just Holmes County, and we'll put on the tornado warning, and there you can see the area being affected right now. This is moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. There are a couple of communities, though, that are in the warned area. We're talking about mainly Chula and Kruger, and I think if there is still any rotation there, it's probably going to be headed between those two areas, crossing Highway 49 to the east. So we're going to put the radar back on here, and I'm going to take a look at the lightning strikes to see if there's a cluster of lightning strikes. Usually that tells us that there's an indication that there's a lot of motion in the atmosphere, a lot of chaos going on. The good news here is I've turned the lightning on, but we're just not seeing a cluster of lightning strikes. So that may be a signal that this is beginning to weaken just a little bit. Now, what Jacob Jacob has been showing you for much of the morning is the velocity. That's usually our go-to product to let us know exactly where there is a rotation, and there's nothing that really jumps out at us at this point. Now, as we went back in time, we could see something there, not seeing a whole lot right now. I'm going to switch over to a different product, and you may see a little bit of a brighter green shading right here, again, between Kruger and Chula. That indicates some stronger wind speeds. Again, this is wind speed at cloud level. This is a -32. That means inbound wind toward the radar site. And then right next to it, you've got the red pixels here. Those are outbound winds away from the radar site, which in this case is Rankin County. So if there's rotation, it's going to be right in about this area, but it certainly is no longer a tight couplet. But if that is where the rotation is, we're going to push this back over to the left portion of your screen. I'm going to circle where that broad rotation is right now, and then remember it is tracking off to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So we're not going to use a cone here. I'm just going to use a line, and we'll track this out, let's say, over about the next 15 minutes. Now, remember, the warning goes for about the next 8 minutes, so this would be past the warning time, but we just want to let you folks know if you're downstream of the storm and for some reason it does cycle back up and the rotation gets a little bit tighter and another warning is issued, we want you folks to know what is coming in your direction. And notice all of these towns that have popped up in this little box that I've drawn here as the storm is progressing to the east. Soon we'll be crossing Highway 49 east between Chula and Kruger, and you see these places here. Meeks at about 5 minutes before the top of the hour, right around the top of the hour, Calvary Episcopal School, and then just a few minutes after, we're looking at Holly Grove School and Sweet Cannon Church. Those areas being affected by what at a minimum is going to be a strong line of storms producing heavy rain, potentially some dangerous lightning strikes, but more importantly, some gusty, potentially damaging winds. And if there are rotating winds, we're talking about the potential for a tornado. So we're going to clear this off once again, and I'm going to zoom in so we can see exactly how close this is to Highway 49. So we're going to track the distance here. Let me put in 45 miles per hour, and it's only about a mile away, so it is right on top of you right now if you live along Highway 49 east between Kruger and Chula. Hopefully you've already gotten into your safe spot. If you live east of there, you do have a couple of minutes to get into that safe spot. And when we say a safe spot, of course, we're talking about getting underground. If you can do that, if you can get to a storm shelter or to a basement, that is your best option. If you don't have that option, you need to get to a small interior room of a sturdy structure, something like a bathroom, a hallway, a closet, something like that. And if you can, cover yourself with pillows, blankets, and get under something sturdy like a table. That's going to give you the best opportunity to get through this if the worst is happening and a tornado is actually on the ground producing debris. Now, we don't think that that is happening at this minute because, again, this rotation is broad. It looks like it is weakening somewhat as it moves from west east across the northern part of Holmes County. Let's put the radar back on once again, and what we look for here is some kind of notching that would tell us that we have got some inflow into the storm, and then on the backside of that, if we see a bowing segment, that tells us that we've got winds on the backside of the storm pushing out. That would indicate rotation as well. Now, there's a little bit of that going on here, I believe, between, again, Kruger and Chula, but not like it was when this tornado warning was issued. In fact, I'm going to back this up just a few minutes. Okay.
So that's good news.
Good information there. So that, Jacob, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the only tornado warning that we've got.
So now no warnings.
Yes. So now there are no tornado warnings, and it does make sense. As we were talking about before, it didn't look as good as it did just a few minutes ago. Back at about 8:32, you notice this big notch right here right there, that told us just by looking at the radar that there was some rotation at cloud level with this storm, and that's why the National Weather Service issued that tornado warning. Now, we've never gotten anything confirmed by a storm spotter on the ground. There's not been a radar confirmed tornado with this. It's always been radar indicated as it's been moving to the east, but notice how that notch just kind of falls apart as it progresses to the east into Holmes County towards Highway 49 east, and that's why the tornado warning has now been canceled a little bit before it was set to expire. So I'm going to zoom out before we leave you. We're going to zoom out here, and I'm going to take a look to see if there are any other watches or warnings. And I don't think, other than the severe thunderstorm watch that will be in effect for the western part of Mississippi, I don't believe there are any warnings right now. But I'm going to turn this on, and yeah, you'll see that the blue shaded area, Vicksburg, the lower end of the Delta, Yazoo County, Holmes County, still under a severe thunderstorm watch. And then farther to the north, the purple shaded area is a tornado watch, which means tornadoes can be produced with those severe thunderstorms along that line. But right now, we do not have that in effect in our area right now. So for now, we're going to send you back to regular programming. But of course, Jacob and I, we're going to be here throughout the morning, throughout the afternoon as the system continues to progress off to the east, and we'll keep you updated on our website at WJTV.com, also on our social media, Facebook and Twitter, of course. And of course, if we get any more tornado warnings, we'll be sure to break into programming and let you know as soon as we know what is happening. But again, for now, we're going to send you back to regular programming.